let's get an update on the Damian Lillard trade. Portland supposedly not crazy interested in Tyler Hero. Where are we progression-wise on those two teams working on a deal?
Well, I think that both sides know kind of what the framework of getting a deal done, and I haven't heard of as much as Portland is saying, we'll consider all offers. The rest of the league knows that there's one place that Damian wants to go, and nobody's going to put out an offer better than Miami in order to get him, knowing that he doesn't want to be there. So both sides know what it's going to take. It's essentially Miami finding that team that will give up a future first, finding a home for Tyler Hero. So it has to be a three-team deal. And I would imagine they can get a first-round pick for Tyler. So right now, there's just not a whole lot of urgency. We're through free agency. That market is tapped. Summer league is over. This is generally when, if there's any time that executives take time off, this is the time that they do it. And so I don't know that if it takes an extra week or two, that it's going to be a reflection of this thing not getting done. I haven't heard anything that would suggest that either the Blazers or Lillard wants to make this a game of chicken and take it into training camp or into the regular season. So I still expect it to get it done, but at this point, the urgency simply isn't there.
All right, what's the latest on Pascal Siakam?
He's in an interesting spot because they've had a couple of potential deals that they could have made, I'm told, and passed on it. And at the same time, they haven't been willing to negotiate an extension. He's, if I'm not mistaken, coming up into the last year of his deal. And so Toronto's always an interesting place because you generally can't get all-star talent up there via free agency. So there's a certain reluctance to let him go unless they're getting that kind of talent back. And other teams are looking at it saying, well, look, he's durable, he's available, he's demonstrated that he's all-star-ish, making the all-star team twice. But it's what are they going to have to pay him going forward? And that's put a hitch in things. The one team that I know that has shown interest are the Indiana Pacers. And so I don't know that Obi Toppin necessarily changes the dynamic there or the level of interest. But as of right now, it would appear that he will be in Toronto playing it out.
Interesting comments from Joel Embiid, right? Like, I just want to win a championship, whether it's Philadelphia or elsewhere. How's that one landed with people in the league?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the thing with Joel is that I don't, in a micro level, like, I don't know that he always thinks out the impact of what he's saying. And we can go back to questioning Ben Simmons and the play that ultimately broke that up. I just, and this is in a macro way, this is the problem you have when he's your best player and arguably the leader of your team, is that you have to be intentional in everything that you say. The idea that he's available, or I don't know that that's what he's thinking, that, hey, I'm ready to go someplace else. But he has to understand that that's how this is going to be interpreted, that he's not wed to Philly. And I will say this, Doug, and you probably know this well, like, Philadelphia is like that's the one market where you don't vocalize, I have 1 foot in and 1 foot out.
Right.
And I guess the exception that I take is the way he spun the whole conversation. He wasn't taking any accountability for their shortcomings, and I believe that he should. He's obviously won MVP. He's been great. He's evolved and developed his game, but he hasn't been without errors or deserving of some criticism or shortcomings. And so that's where I'm a little like, this is the issue, is that if your leader doesn't have the awareness of who he is and what he means to the organization and what he means to everybody else and what his words mean to everybody else, then it's going to be very difficult for you to win a championship. And for that, it doesn't matter where Joel is. It's not location that's the issue. It's who's leading the band.
You know, it's fascinating you mentioned that he's not really accountable. That is kind of a league-wide thing for the most part, though. You know, there's nobody that goes like, "Hey, we need to win more. I got to be better." But yeah. It's a gigantic thing that's obviously missing in that discussion. Why is LeBron changing numbers? Because
well, I mean, you want the cynical view?
There's only two cynical views. Okay, you ready for it? I'll give you both of them.
Yeah.
Okay. One is, and this is Jason Stewart's, that he wants two numbers retired with the Lakers. My cynical view is a little bit love the attention, but a lot bit it increases your jersey sales.
Oh, absolutely. That was the first place I went. Yeah. That was the first place I went. That his popularity and the markers that determine popularity is that's one of them. It's a big one, and there's nothing better to goose your jersey sales than to change numbers, because then now everybody's got to buy a new one, and the jersey sales go up. That was the first place that I went. So we are on the same page there. Whatever it is, I mean, this is the cynical me, but I think it's been earned over the years. Like, whatever LeBron said the reason was, that's not the reason.
Yeah, and then he had the SB speech where he's like, "Hey, good news for all you guys. I'm going to play again."
So brutal. This is what I struggle with, because you know, you can find all of the positives for what LeBron has done and what he's been and the things that but when you are a superstar of his magnitude and it comes off like, I mean, the underlying message was, you know, you guys really don't appreciate me as much as you should. But, you know, fortunately, I'm going to stick around and I'm going to give you a little bit more of me. Like, I just can't even imagine another star of his magnitude still feeling like he's not getting enough, I don't know, accolades, love, warm hugs. I don't know what it is, but that was just, you know, less so the you know, lucky you, I'm staying here, today's not that day or whatever it is. Like that's one thing. That's a self-absorption at a special level, but just the tone of, and then the whole, like, I go on, the not cheating the game, and you know, one thing I won't do is cheating the game, even though I can't do what I used to do. Like, okay, well, wait a minute. I don't know if those two necessarily fit either. So, yeah, I struggle with it, because I want to admire and respect all that LeBron has accomplished, but sometimes he makes it really hard.
No question. It's been over a year since Deandre Ayton signed his deal, so now he doesn't have the ability to veto a trade. Is he a Sun day one of the season?
I'm going to say yes. I think they go into the season with him and seeing how things happen, but I would not be surprised if he was on another team by Christmas, because while they have made some additions to their bench, I don't know that it's been enough. I think they've done an admirable job under the circumstances, certainly not sparing in expense, but I just, the role that they need in that position is, and if we're talking championship, is not the role that DeAndre Ayton ultimately wants to play. And where I think it's really going to come up short is now that you don't have Chris Paul on the team. As much as those two might have had conflicts, Chris Paul was able to get Ayton a lot of looks and a lot of buckets and touches, and I don't know that he's going to see the same, or that Bradley Beal or Devin Booker, or whoever it is going to make a concerted effort to do the same.
Ric Bucher, Fox Sports 1, and of course you read his stuff at foxsports.com. Buch, thanks so much for joining us and giving us that clarity of thought on LeBron's number change, because all of us thought it was a very altruistic sort of move. Thanks for joining us.
No doubt. Come on. That's been LeBron's. What was his goal? He wanted to be the first billion-dollar athlete, not the first guy to win X number of championships or even all-time scorer or any of that stuff. It was. You always got to go to what the mission statement was at the very beginning. He's still serving that.
Thanks, Buch.
Yep.